Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at this pretty interesting ebook. It's called 999 Different Money-Making Ideas.
Oh, wow.
999.
999. And it's full of some pretty unique business ideas.
Okay.
And I think what's really cool about it is that a lot of them you can do from home, and many of them require very little capital. So
Yeah.
it's great for people who are thinking about, starting a side hustle or maybe even, starting their own full-time business.
Absolutely.
But also, I think even if you're not an entrepreneur, it's just a fun way to get those creative juices flowing and just think outside the box.
Right.
So what I thought was really cool about this book was just the sheer volume of ideas.
Yeah.
Some of them are very practical. Some of them are a little bit outlandish. But what I really like about it is that it really emphasizes this idea that anyone can be an entrepreneur. Right. Yeah. And that accessibility aspect is really interesting. I mean, just looking at the focus on low investment, home-based businesses, it makes you think about the economic context in which this book was written.
Yeah.
Maybe people were looking for alternative ways to generate income.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule of DIY hustle.
Exactly.
So, are you ready to dive into some of these 999 money-making wonders?
Absolutely. Let's see what we've got.
Okay, so one of the first ideas that stood out to me was this idea of selling personalized Christmas cards,
Okay.
but targeted at specific surnames.
Oh, interesting.
So, like Merry Christmas to the Smiths.
Yeah, like to everyone named Smith.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And think about it. This was pre-internet.
Right. Yeah.
So direct mail was a much more powerful
'Cause
marketing tool. Imagine using telephone directories to target specific demographics, families with common last names.
That's a really niche approach.
Yeah.
But I could see how it could have been effective back then.
Absolutely. And speaking of niche, how about this one? A toy mobile rental service.
Toy mobile.
Yeah, basically a van stocked with expensive children's toys
Okay.
that you rent out to families.
I like it.
So it really capitalizes on the fact that kids grow out of toys so quickly.
Whoa.
And parents are always
Better
looking
save
for
them.
ways to save money
anything
and
with it.
space.
Yeah, I could see this. Like, what would the logistics of that look like, though? Would you have, like, a van?
They actually do talk about like a van,
Oh, wow.
a toy mobile
I love it.
that goes around. But
Oh, yeah.
it makes you think, how would you clean the toys? How would you ensure
Right.
that they're returned in good condition?
Yeah, it's like a precursor to today's toy subscription boxes.
Yes,
And rental services.
exactly.
But with that more
Yeah.
personal, local touch.
It's like a more analog version of that.
Right, exactly.
Okay. This next one is particularly intriguing. It suggests creating a directory of discontinued products.
Oh, wow. Now, this one, I think, speaks to some current trends.
Yeah.
Like the whole nostalgia market.
Yes.
The obsession with vintage goods. Imagine you have this comprehensive resource
Yeah.
for collectors, for businesses, even for inventors. You could have information on discontinued toys, gadgets, even old recipes,
Wow. Yeah.
manufacturing techniques. I mean, it could be a gold mine
Yeah.
for people trying to revive classic products.
Right. Or just tap into that.
Or just to see what
Yeah.
existed back then.
Yeah, like that yearning for the past.
Absolutely.
It's interesting because it's not about inventing something new.
Right.
It's about recognizing an existing need
Yeah.
and finding a creative solution. Okay, are you ready for something a little more unconventional?
Hit me.
The ebook suggests selling sleep-inducing products.
Now, that is fascinating because it
Wait.
really foreshadows what we see today
Yeah.
with the sleep economy.
Yes.
Like, we're obsessed with sleep these days, aren't we?
We are.
All these products, sleep trackers, white noise machines, weighted blankets, sleep apps. I mean, this book was really onto something
Decades ago.
decades ago.
Yeah, tapping into this basic human need
It's a fundamental need.
for a good night's sleep.
Absolutely.
Okay, one more before we move on. This one's a little crafty. The ebook suggests decorating objects with pressed flowers.
I love this one. It combines nature
Yeah.
with this unique appeal of handmade products.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have trays, coasters, picture frames, jewelry boxes,
Yeah.
all adorned with these delicate pressed flowers.
I mean, it's so on trend.
It is.
You've got sustainability, you've got handmade goods,
Yeah.
the natural aesthetic. It's all there.
It's all there.
It's a reminder that entrepreneurial success can come from something as simple and as beautiful as pressed flowers. But it also makes you think about the modern context. How would you market and sell such products today?
We've got online marketplaces like Etsy,
Yeah.
which would be perfect for that.
So what stands out to you from these first few ideas? Are you seeing any patterns emerge?
I think what's fascinating is how many of these tap into these kind of timeless human needs,
Yeah.
sleep, play, nostalgia.
Right.
But they also highlight the importance of understanding your target market,
Yeah.
finding your niche, and being adaptable to changing trends. And it's amazing how many of them could be modernized, and I think they would thrive in today's world.
Okay, ready to dig a little deeper. We've barely scratched the surface of these 999 money-making ideas.
Let's keep exploring.
All right, the next idea involves mounting maps for businesses.
Okay? Mounting maps for businesses. On the surface, it might not sound that exciting, but you have to remember, this was before the internet, before GPS.
Right. The pre-digital era. Like, how did people even get around?
It's a totally different world.
Yeah.
Think about businesses back then relying on these big mounted maps for everything. Logistics, delivery routes, sales territories, market analysis.
It's like a whole different way of visualizing information.
Exactly. And especially for companies that operated across regions
Yeah.
or even internationally.
Yeah.
A really detailed, well-mounted map, that would have been like gold.
It's so interesting how something so seemingly basic could be so essential
Oh, no.
to a business.
It really highlights how important it is to understand the needs of your market.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this next one, this one might resonate with you. It's about creating a publication specifically for ambitious amateur musicians,
Okay.
like a magazine or a newsletter.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like a proto-internet community.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. It's like those online forums or social media groups,
Exactly.
but in print form.
Imagine connecting amateur musicians, providing resources, even having a platform for promotion. Like you could advertise music teachers or instrument retailers or even bands looking for new members.
Yeah, that's really tapping into that need for connection.
Yeah, especially around shared interests.
Absolutely.
Okay, brace yourself for this next one.
Okay.
This one's a little bit risque. It suggests starting a company that produces a compendium of strip games.
Whoa. Okay. That's a niche market.
Yeah, it's pretty bold.
That makes sense, sure.
But think about how they would have even marketed this back then. The ebook mentions mail order catalogs and ads in certain adult magazines.
Right. You have to be a lot more creative when you don't have the internet.
Exactly, to reach those niche audiences.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to something a little more family-friendly.
Please.
This idea involves painting attractive designs on rocks
Okay.
to create souvenir paperweights and doorstops.
Designer rocks.
Yeah, designer rocks. It's kind of a simple idea, but I like how it combines art and craft with practicality.
Yeah, and think about the market for that.
Yeah,
You could sell those at craft fairs,
absolutely.
farmers markets, even online.
And you could personalize them.
Yeah.
You could do custom designs. You
Mhm.
could even do local imagery or landmarks if you're thinking about tourists.
Right. Cater to your audience.
It's a good reminder that you can create a really successful business by focusing on a simple,
Yeah.
creative product. Okay, you ready for this next one? This one involves building model kits made entirely of cocktail sticks.
I'm out of cocktail sticks.
Cocktail sticks.
Wow, that's impressive.
Like churches, castles, windmills. It's amazing.
It's like, what can't you make out of a cocktail stick?
It's a good example of resourcefulness and imagination. You're taking something so ordinary and turning it into something intricate and beautiful.
Yeah. And think about the educational aspect.
Yes.
It teaches patience,
Fine motor skills.
problem solving.
It's like a combination of art and engineering.
It is.
Okay, this next idea seems almost meta considering the nature of this ebook. It suggests creating a board game that simulates starting a mail order business.
Wow. That's so self-referential. A game based on their own entrepreneurial journey.
And you know, this was before we had all those business simulation video games.
Right. Like SimCity
Exactly.
and all those.
A board game would have been a really fun and accessible way to teach people about business principles.
Mm-hmm. Marketing, risk management.
Yeah. And of course, they suggest marketing the game through mail order to business opportunity seekers.
Of course. It's perfect.
Oh.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. This one's more hands-on. The ebook suggests a service where you collect and sharpen blunt garden tools.
I mean, it's such a simple service, but it addresses a real need.
It does.
Because sharpening garden tools, it can be really time-consuming.
And it requires some skill.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So it's perfect for homeowners, gardeners.
Landscaping businesses.
Yeah.
It could be a great local service.
And it's environmentally friendly.
It is.
Yeah.
Because you're encouraging people to repair their tools
Reuse.
instead of just throwing them away.
Okay, this next one is just pure fun.
And I like fun.
It involves making and selling novelty slippers shaped like
Oh,
animals.
I love that. Like fuzzy bunny slippers? Or
Yeah.
like a roaring lion.
It's a product that appeals to all ages.
It does. It's just fun.
And think about the seasonal potential. You could have different animals for different holidays.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, we're nearing the end of our second batch of ideas. This one's all about leveraging local expertise. The ebook suggests writing and self-publishing guides to local tourist attractions.
Okay.
You know those little booklets you see at visitor centers and souvenir shops?
Yeah.
Instead of having a generic travel guide,
Right.
you have these specialized booklets written by locals, so they know all the best hidden gems and all the off-the-beaten-path spots.
Yeah, that insider information that you wouldn't find
Exactly.
in a regular travel guide.
And you could tailor the guides to specific interests, too.
You could. Absolutely.
Like if you're a foodie or a history buff.
Totally. And I love how that could even be adapted for the digital world.
Yeah.
Like imagine an app
Interactive maps,
or a website, yeah.
local
And
recommendations.
audio tours narrated by locals.
Okay, last but not least, the ebook suggests collecting scrap wood from construction sites and turning it into rustic furniture.
Oh, I love that idea. It's so resourceful and it's sustainable.
Yeah, it's a win-win for the environment and the entrepreneur.
It is. It's upcycling at its best.
You're taking something that would otherwise be wasted
Yeah.
and turning it into something functional and beautiful.
And it's so on trend, too.
The rustic aesthetic.
The handmade furniture, yeah.
So what are your overall impressions as we wrap up this second set of ideas?
I'm just really struck by the diversity and ingenuity of these ideas.
Yeah.
We've seen niche services, creative products, unusual marketing approaches. It just shows that there are entrepreneurial opportunities